Hello and welcome to Pravus Gaming and a brand new series for this channel, Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth, Rising Tide. Now we did play Beyond Earth a little bit when it first released. That was a few months ago. Gonna be honest, it was a little underwhelming. It was a good game, it was a very pretty game, but it lacked any of the charm of Civilization 5, so even though it was asymmetrical and kind of interesting in concept, it never really did catch much of my attention. I ended up playing maybe 2 games total, and then never played it again. That said, though, Civilization games sort of have a history where the vanilla game that's released does not tend to be very well received, and then as the expansions come out, it tends to get far, far more in-depth and way more fun. So I am very eager to see what Rising Tide is going to be offering for Beyond Earth, because I think this is a great concept for a Civilization game. It just needed a little bit more depth, and I'm hoping that this can do it. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into things. We need to set up a game. We're going to be playing on Vostok difficulty, which is moderate. Mercury would be considered normal. This is a little bit low for me in the sense that in Civilization 5 I usually play on Emperor difficulty or higher. But I don't want it to be too hard at this point. This is more of a casual playthrough to see what kind of changes have been added into the game. We will be playing on Standard with a small map size for 6 players, and accept that. Now, one of the first things you're going to notice that is different in Rising Tide is that there are some new civilizations to play from, or I suppose they're called sponsors in this game, sponsoring your colony. The first one we'll see is Al-Falah. Yield from city developments increased by 150%. I'm not entirely sure what constitutes as a city development, because it doesn't say building. Maybe it means tile improvement, but then it would say that, you would think. So what it means by city developments, I'm not entirely sure. This could be really powerful, or it could be really underwhelming. I don't know. There is the North Sea Alliance. Aquatic cities have 50% more combat strength and cost 50% less to move. And the North Sea Alliance is one of the only 2 civilizations in the game that can start in the ocean. Chengsu. Oh, I should probably say that North Sea Alliance is basically the British Isles and Scandinavia, if I understand correctly. Chengsu is a Korean civilization. Start with 1 free covert agent, and each successful covert operation in a foreign city rewards 10 science per agent rank, and they can also start at sea. So Chengsu and Ark are both going to be pretty covert civilizations, but this one could potentially be pretty powerful. I don't know. We'd find out. And then there's Integer, I-N-T-E-G-R. Agreements cost 50% less diplomatic capital, which we'll understand later because diplomatic capital is a whole new currency added into this game. We'll understand a lot more about that later. Purchasing units and buildings costs 25% less diplomatic capital. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is potentially a pretty powerful ability. And Integer, I believe, is a sort of German / former European Union style of sponsor. Pretty sure they're German-based, though. But we're going to be playing with either the North Sea Alliance or Chengsu, probably. Because I wouldn't mind starting off in the ocean. Because, I mean, after all, this is Rising Tide. I mean, don't get me wrong, Al-Falah could be pretty good. I think Integer could become one of my new favorite civs. But let's definitely start on the ocean. And you know what? What the heck? Let's start as the North Sea Alliance. It's fine. Totally fine. We can start at the sea, and we can move our city around on the ocean a little bit faster. So yeah, we'll pick that one up. As far as our colonists, not much has changed. You can get either science, food, energy, production, or culture. I really like culture, but science is almost always the better way to go. Food can be pretty good too. I don't think I know anybody who goes for aristocrats or engineers, though. Definitely not aristocrats. Engineers has some use, but not energy per city. Even if it is 4, it's still just not as good as getting science straight up. Science is very important in this game. We can choose our spacecraft. Do we want a continental surveyor? Retrograde thrusters to help choose where we're landing our city. The tectonic scanner to see some strategic resources. Fusion reactor, no one does that. Life form sensor, no one should do that either. I'm probably going to go with retrograde thrusters, although continental surveyor could also be quite good. But I want to make sure that I get a start with an ocean city, or at least increase the likelihood that I will. So we'll pick up retrograde. As far as our cargo, I always like machinery. Starting with a worker is great. It's okay to have extra population. Pioneering, no. I mean, nobody needs to blob out that fast. Clinic is okay, but machinery is just really good. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with getting a free worker unit. Alright, and as far as planets, there are 2 new types of worlds that have been added into the game, 2 new biomes. So there's Primordial, which I believe is basically volcanic / a very new world kind of thing. It's still shifting, it's still, it's still kind of in its young, crusty stages, I suppose. I'm thinking this is basically more of a volcanic planet. And the other one that we're going to be looking for is... Where are you? Frigid. There we go. Tyson 418b. Frigid Terran world. A world with a few large landmasses separated by oceans and some smaller islands. Now, Frigid, of course, is exactly what you think. It's icy. The whole world is icy with a lot of water. And while that may be a little bit difficult to survive on, I think it will be interesting, and I wouldn't mind playing with one of the new biomes introduced in this expansion. So let's try it. Alright, we have everything we need. Let's begin as the North Sea Alliance. Alright, here we go. Now we have the option of starting off on land, or because we're the North Sea Alliance, we can start off in any of the shallow waters. Coastal as opposed to ocean is what it sounds like. We'll be able to move to ocean later, but for now we gotta start out here. I see a goody hut right off the bat, which is awesome. Resource pod floating in the ocean. I see some gigantic frickin' fish. Chelonia. I mean, those things are freaking massive. Could eat a city. Yeah, I probably don't want to deal with that too much. Let's see, as far as strategic resources. What's this? Plankton. Glowing blue plankton. That's cute. Some coral for some extra culture. Could be kind of nice. Gold as well. Not so bad. And shell. So we're actually starting off next to some culture generation right off the bat, which is kind of interesting. We also have Feraxite 2 off to the north and 2 Xenomass off to the west. Kinda weak. Not much to speak of on that front. Not very impressed by that. But, what do we want to do? Well, as far as a starting location, we do want to start off in the ocean, and wherever you place your city... So here's the deal about ocean cities, right? Their borders do not grow naturally. They do not. Unlike a land city, which, its borders sort of grow over time. Not if you're ocean. You have to buy the city tiles. Or you can move your city over a tile, and it retains the borders from the previous area. So if I place my city here, for example, I'll have this hex. And if I move my city 1 to the left, I'll pick up these 3 tiles, and so on. But wherever your city goes, it's going to destroy whatever tile improvement existed before. So you kind of want to plan things out a little bit as far as where you want to go. So for instance, I'm looking down here and thinking, wow, I kind of wish that I could pick up, the gold and everything else. But in order to do so, I'd have to go all the way around the coral in order to make that work. And I would miss out on the shells. I could start here and kind of work my way around the coast, but that would take forever. Better to just buy the tiles outright. There's a resource pod there as well. I could, however, place myself right here on the coast and just continue to move out west and pick up some resources down here over time if I want to, but I'll immediately start off with the gold and the coral and some tubers. Not bad. I miss out on the shells, but you know what? Maybe there's an opportunity to build another city down here somewhere. We'll see. We will see, but I'm thinking I kind of like this location. It may be a bad choice, but we're going to do it anyway, so let's place our first city. Splashdown is the achievement. Aquatic cities, they do not grow with culture. They can move. You can buy plus energy, but it takes production to move your city around. Important to know. Alright, as far as the worker is concerned, though. We can upgrade with a work barge in order to take advantage of the coral immediately, or we probably should go to the tubers and get some extra food. Look at us floating in the water, it's so awesome! Alright, there's our explorer unit. It's got a cool little radar just kind of booping around over there. Let's go straight for the resource pods, because I love them goody huts. They make me happy. Deep Castle is our initial city. We should choose some research. Few options, really. Let's see. Planetary Survey could be nice. It allows for amphibious trade, which basically says that your trade routes can traverse both the land and the sea. That's kind of nice, but we don't have any trading partners yet, so it's not a priority. This is required, however, to even move our city in the first place. Onto the ocean tiles, I should say. They can move around on coastal tiles, shallow water, basically. But for example, I can move here, no problem, it's coast. If I want to move one further to the left, well, then I need to have that technology researched. So planetary survey is a little bit more important. Pioneering could be okay if we want to get some trade, but again, no trading partners this early in the game. There is things like physics, engineering, genetics is okay, ecology is alright. I think we're going to go for chemistry, though. That'll unlock the submarine, the laboratory for the extra science generation, recycler for production, and will reveal all petroleum on the map. I think that could be kind of useful, so let's do that. Let's choose our first round of production. We could get ourselves an old Earth relic, and I think I will. Generally, I would rush out another explorer, but you know what? We're gonna take a risk here. I want to start developing extra culture so that I can get my tenants pretty early on, and I want to start developing diplomatic capital. We'll explain more about this later as we have a bit more in reserve. But this is going to be very important, and potentially will change the entire way that diplomacy works in this game. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's begin our first, or I guess end our first turn and start our second turn. Get a plantation out there because I like them tubers. It's a pretty good early food resource to have. Really hoping for some culture if we're gonna get this goodie hut right here. Oh look, our first round of aliens. So these are alien rippers. Now in Rising Tide, they did add a whole bunch of new alien types that live out on the ocean. So gotta pay attention to that. These are pretty weak but fast little guys, melee units I think. They look kind of weird, don't they? Very weird and very impractical, but nonetheless, kind of cool. Let's pick up the resource hunt. Hey, we did get culture. Awesome. Ask and thou shalt receive. There's a sunken vehicle. We could do an expedition on that. Or we can make a run for this goodie hut, and I think I will. Get those out there as soon as possible. Develop a virtue. Now, I love knowledge and industry in the past, because I have a lot of focus on science and production. But I think one thing that could be nice in this game, we're going to try this because I don't usually do it, we're going to go down the prosperity tree. Now, this focuses on growth and expansion. I'm going to try to grow fairly rapidly. We definitely want to grab frugality and stuff like that. We want to get the extra food. We want to get workers. We want to get free colonists. And in particular, we want to work our way down toward things like lots and lots of extra health. Joy from variety, mind over matter, eudaimonia. Eudaimonia? I don't know. Either way, lots of cool stuff you can do in the prosperity tree as far as growing, and I'm going to try it. I don't usually do prosperity. Usually knowledge is the way to go, because, again, the best way to win this game in the past has been to go for as much science as possible. Thus, the infamous Academy spam strategy. Ugh, it's one of the main reasons I stopped playing Beyond Earth, was because I thought that was just so darn boring. Either way, these rippers are no danger to me right now, and I don't want to provoke aliens by shooting at them if they're not going to do anything to me. So let's just ignore them. It doesn't look like he's going to do much. He's just he's like a friendly little dolphin. Yeah, it's like a little friendly little dolphin that's going up to the side of your ship like, oh cool, what's this thingy? Oh, hi humans, we like you. Oh god, hi. Okay, that's a new unit, a Makara. Wow. You look like, okay, first off, that face kind of reminds me of a seal. Cut off the rest of this, and it kind of looks like a weird little seal to me. But it's also got giant, like, crab arms. Massive mandibular jaws. Oh, wow. What a weird-looking creature. What a weird-looking creature. Not a fan of that thing. Oh, it can also go on the land, so it swims. Ooh, I was thinking I should get out on the water in order to avoid this thing, but, it can go on both. Okay, not a fan of that. So we do still have quests in this game, as before. We want to research pioneering and found a new city. We want to find resource pods, and there are some new quests that have been added into the game with the addition of Rising Tide. Hopefully, we'll get to a few of those in this game. Let's grab our goodie hut. We get even more culture. Wasn't expecting that. That's fun. Do we want to get another free worker unit? Or do we want to get something else? Science, production. I mean, at this stage in the game, we make so little science and production that 10% isn't even worth 1. They'll be useful later, but right now, not a big deal. Maybe you have another free worker unit. That could be fun. Sure, why not? Let's get 2 worker units. I'm going to take you on the land so that the Rippers can't cause any damage. But yeah, we're going to basically be developing this city very quickly. Very, very quickly. Oh no, manticores. Hopefully you don't cause any problems for me. Please don't. Okay, let's go ahead and send this explorer over to the sunken vehicle next. because I kind of want to know what's going to happen if I build an expedition there. Let's also construct, let's see, these are deserts. They're not worth much. Let's go ahead and yeah, let's move on to the desert, I guess. Let's go with what the AI says we should do. They're not always right, but sometimes, once in a while, they are, so we'll try it. Okay, now notice one thing. Because we are an oceanic city, we have the Move City option. It'll take 5 turns worth of production in order to move over 1 tile. We can speed that up with various different buildings, and because in the North Sea Alliance, it does go a lot faster. I think it would take 10 turns if I were not the North Sea Alliance. So, just to give you an idea of what we have to do in order to expand. Again, I can use gold to just straight up buy things, and that's fine. Not sure it'll be a priority, but it is an option. Explorer, you're taking a wee bit of damage over there, so why don't you get out on there, on the ocean. We'll build a mine there and there, per their recommendations. Next turn. Rippers, don't mess with me. Alright, we have our first new player. Now, I believe... I could be remembering this incorrectly. Wait. It looks like it landed in the ocean to me. Okay, that tells me something. So, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe in Vanilla Beyond Earth, whenever a new civilization landed, you immediately made diplomatic contact, and they introduced themselves and said, "Hi, I'm the African Union," for example. And you were able to do diplomacy pretty much right away. In this expansion, I know that is not an option. Once they land, you don't know who they are until you send a unit over to meet them. You just have an idea where they are, but that's it. Kind of interesting, kind of different. I kind of like it, not gonna lie. Now, that said, though, I know who it is, because they landed in the ocean for their first city. And since the only 2 civilizations can do that are the North Sea Alliance, me, and Cheongsu, then I know that that's who they are. So that's the Korean civ right there. Kind of fun. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of a rivalry going on the ocean blue. So I look forward to that with great salivation. I mean, anticipation. Something. Oh, no! Alright, so this is a new thing as well. So, there are some alien static units, hydrocoral. There probably is a giant pod of hydrocoral somewhere. But it kind of continues to spread over the ocean. It's static, it doesn't really do anything, it just gets in your way. And it just so happens to be in the way of the sunken vehicle. So I'm going to need to get a military unit over here to take out this hydrocoral before I'll be able to do an expedition. Knowing that, it might be better to send the explorer up here instead. Aliens have been detected, we already know about that. Okay, so we can improve the speed of tile improvements. Not so bad. Explorer units can build an additional 3 expeditions. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Not sure if we want that right away, but it is good. We could, however, get outpost growth for when we do decide to start expanding. Or we could just pick something else up entirely. You know, we could pick up not a foresight, for example, and start working our way toward other things. I mean, there's options here. There are definitely options. Of course, you have to keep in mind, in Civilization Beyond Earth, finishing a lot of stuff in Tier 1 will get you certain bonuses. For example, a free virtue. Get even more, you'll get extra production and energy, and then free technology. And if you finish enough in a specific tree, so prosperity, we get, in this case, 10% growth in every city. So there is an incentive to stay in the prosperity Tier 1 section, at least for a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and pick up, well, no. I'm going to pick up homesteading. Why not? Let's pick up homesteading and then work our way toward a free colonist unit. I don't really know where I want to place the city quite yet, but you know what? Let's do it anyway. Let's find out. Okay, good. Next turn, and what is... Okay, so yes, I was going to say, we have another civilization landing. No idea who they are. We know it's not Cheongsu, though. That's about all I can say. Also, apparently my character's name is Duncan Hughes. So, yes, there's the hydrocoral. There this thing is. And it's going to continue spreading out. Oh, there's another player right there. All right, so we're up to 4 now. Yeah, so this thing is going to continue to spread hydrocoral all over the place. At some point, I want to clear that out because it's just going to be a pain in the butt. We found alien nests and another resource pod, so we don't want to get too close to this thing or the aliens might become aggressive. Also, this looks like a new unit. Alien scarabs. They look kind of like beetles with bull horns. I mean, it makes sense that they're beetle-like. They're called scarabs, after all, but still. Fascinating. Huh. Well, probably don't want to mess with that thing too much. Let's see. We can probably do an expedition without dying from the miasma, so we'll try. Let's send you out to build a farm on the ocean, and send you to build a work barge on the coral and get some culture generation for me. Next turn. Now, there is a lot more in this game to explore, and I'll be going over that in detail as we go. For example, this diplomatic capital we haven't even touched yet, but that's going to be a very integral part of the game at some point. But I'm waiting for a proper opportunity to do so. We haven't even talked about hybrid affinities yet. I mean, there's a lot to do, but you're just going to have to wait until next time. So thank you guys for watching. This has been Pravus. I'm all out of time, but we're going to move straight on to the next episode. If you enjoyed this video and you're excited for the rest of the series, then I hope you'll consider hitting that like button, because it does actually help for search results on YouTube and growth of this channel. Leave a comment telling me any helpful tips that you might have learned in your own experiences in Civilization Beyond Earth, and subscribe for all future content. My name has been Pravus, and I will see you guys next time.